Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rise. We're back here at Crown Hyundai, of course, in St. Pete, Florida. And guess what? I have that mid-size 3-row SUV that you have been waiting to see more of. It's this right here. This is your totally redesigned 2024 Hyundai Santa Fe. This particular one is an SEL trim. But before we get into this redesign OG in Hyundai's SUV lineup, let's talk about what's going on here. Hyundai's making some big changes. They've been doing it for decades now, which is kind of crazy. It hasn't been that long, say as Chevrolet or a Honda, but since the 1980s, Hyundai has been making slow changes, and then once the 2000s came around, then they just went on throttle with all the changes that they've been bringing. Not only with electrification, the Ioniq 5, the Ioniq 6, but then with the original. The Santa Fe is the first ever crossover SUV from Hyundai. Now we have a lineup going from big all the way down to the small venue. But it's interesting because I thought the Santa Fe might have been killed off the line because of the Palisade. Both of them are mid-size 3-row SUVs. But what I want to find out is, in this segment, which is that 3-row mid-size SUV segment, should you be going Santa Fe or should you be going Toyota Highlander? Let's go ahead, let's dive into this SEL trim Santa Fe and find out. Right off the bat, I'm kind of digging the black exterior. The reason why is all of the black accents blend in very nicely. Now, the SEL trim is one step up from the entry. So entry is SE, that's gonna be your base trim. SEL is the next line up. Of course, we will be bringing you the other trims, especially when you think about like the Limited and the other offerings that they're gonna have. Now at the front of the business, love what they've done with the style. Very, very unique. You have the letter H. H is for horse, H is for Hyundai. Obviously your daytime running lamp and your turn signals blended in nicely. You're gonna have a double stuff, double stack, it's almost like an Oreo cookie of LED lighting. Projector beam LED headlights up top, down below, and then as we work our way to the corners, this is where you're gonna have that functionality. So you have the functional corner air curtains, and on the SEL trim, it's flat black. As you go up the other trim levels, the higher trim levels, this becomes gloss black. I'm kind of liking the flat black, like I said, especially with this black on black Santa Fe that we have. Now, as we come across that all new grille design, very unique. This is not the grille. It's not intended to be the grille. It's here to obviously house the LED daytime running lamp. I like the way on the SEL trim, you're gonna have these silver accents, but the grille is actually here and down below. Now I know you might be saying, well Joe, where is the grille? These actually open. As soon as you fire up this Santa Fe, these doors actually open to allow cool air to flow in. And they basically took this design from the Ioniq 5 because it's all about efficiency. If you don't need them open for cooling and you're driving down the road, this will be more efficient to airflow. Now, all the way down, we do have full functionality, and there are shutters behind the grille that open and close depending on how much air is needed to cool all of the heat exchangers. Now, we have the silver up top, a little bit of flat silver just along the lower lip gives it a nice overall touch. But let me know in the comment section, are you liking the front end of this new Santa Fe, or are you gonna go with the more tried and true Highlander? Let me know down in that comment section. But as we rise up, what do we have going on here? I like the way you have that nice angle to the front of the hood, the Hyundai badge, super flush. I'm so glad that they're doing just flush badging and they're all silver, matches nicely with the rest of the silver. And then you have these two bold body lines for the hood. Some people would say this looks like a Defender, a Land Rover Defender. I'm gonna say that imitation is the greatest form of flattery, because this definitely has body lines that are similar to the Land Rover Defender. But as we come around the bend, when we look at wheel and tire choices, what do we have on an SEL trim? This is going to be your wheel, machined aluminum, gloss black. This is an 18-inch wheel. Of course, they'll have other larger options as well. And if you're wondering, well, what's the size of the tire? 235 on the width, 60 series sidewall. And if you're wondering, does this have all-wheel drive? No, this one is front-wheel drive, but you can get optional H-track. That's what they call it, not 8-track. That's something that played music back in the late 60s and 70s. H-track is Hyundai's all-wheel drive system. Obviously front-wheel drive based, sends power to the rear wheels, just like the Toyota Highlander. Toyota Highlander is also front-wheel drive based. I do like the way they did the fender openings, and like I said, with ours being black, I'm digging that it's just flat black. It gives it, I think, a cleaner look than the gloss black. Let me know down in the comment sections how you feel about that. But you'll notice those nice bold lines start on the front fascia and then come into the fender. You do have a little bit of a side badge where it's got the Santa Fe name. Real clean, and look at the way it just waterfalls nicely into the door panel. Now up top, we're gonna have color matched mirror caps with your LED lighting, and then you're gonna have painted, gloss black painted, raised roof rails. This SEL trim does not have a sunroof or a panoramic sunroof. And then you'll notice color matched on the door handles and then flat black along the bottom. But you can see I'm 6 feet tall. This is the size. It's actually grown in length, and it's just a little bit shorter, but the boxy dimensions to me really set it apart from where we were. And if Stephen could pan, there's actually a black Santa Fe right back there, just to give you an idea of where we went from the previous generation to this all new Santa Fe. Now working our way towards the rear, I love the way you have the squared off rear quarter glass. You'll also notice with the trim that they have, and then swinging it around back, it's a little bit of a mixed bag. I know most people are gonna say this looks like a hearse, but one of the nice things is it's super clean because the wiper is hidden in the rear spoiler. So you have a long, low roof spoiler, and then you have the wiper tucked in, and that's gonna sweep down to clean the rear glass. Santa Fe name, all flushed. Like the way they spell it out, nice and large and prominent. And then working our way down to ground level, you do have a single outlet exhaust, machined aluminum and stainless steel tip. I personally think I would like 2. Can I get an order of 2? Maybe like a buy one, get one. Buy one exhaust tip, get another. Because it just kind of looks a little funky being on one side. But the way that they did the LED lighting, very similar to the lighting up front with the letter H. Let me know if you like that in the comment section. But let's go ahead, let's pop the hood and talk power about this new Santa Fe. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have hood struts, which are nice. Here's another thing that's nice. You wouldn't even notice this unless you pop the hood. Even the touches underneath the hood where the headlight housings are, this is what Hyundai brings, the little extra touches. Underneath the hood, you'll notice a very clean engine cover and the word turbo. Guess what? This has a turbocharged engine. It's a 2.5 liter turbocharged inline 4, pumping out 277 horsepower, 311 pound-feet of torque, and it's mated to an 8-speed DCT. That's that dual clutch transmission. 0 to 60 in about 6.2 seconds. Top speed 130 miles per hour. The vehicle weighs around 4,500 pounds. MPGs 24 in the city, 27 on the highway. So nice to see. No CVT, and we have some potent power underneath the hood. Now remember, the Highlander no longer has a V6. So if that was going to be your answer, well, Joe, the Toyota Highlander has a V6. V6 is gone. Now they use a 2.4 liter turbocharged engine that puts out 275 horsepower. So very similar to horsepower. This one, though, has an 8-speed DCT. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire it up and hear what kind of sound it makes. All right, guys, we are inside this 2024 Santa Fe. Santa Fe's been around since the year 2000, if you could believe that. The year when I remember going to bed in 1999 and thinking that nothing was going to work when you woke back up. That was what we were wondering, because supposedly things like watches, ATMs didn't have the ability to know that it was the year 2000. That's what they said. But guess what? Everything was okay, and the Santa Fe came out, and that was okay as well. Now, I know you're probably saying to yourself, well, Joe, I've been looking for a new midsize SUV. I got to haul the kids around to soccer games, baseball practice, ballet, the whole 9 yards, and I need something a little large, but I don't want to go too big. I don't like the Palisade, but I'm liking this Santa Fe, especially over the Highlander, the Toyota Highlander. How much is it? Very good question. MSRP for this SEL trim is right at $36,000. Let's see what you get on this redesign to the door panels. Love the all new style. Look at up top, that soft, smooth touch material with the stitching, the silver trim with the large door handle, and nothing is gloss black. Armrest, same story. The stitching, the material. Door pocket is on the tight side. So basically, with the door pocket, you might be able to get a whopper in there, and that is about it. Going from the door panel to the dash, same thing though. Soft material, the stitching is nice, the finishes, the trim. And remember, this is not a top limited trim or calligraphy. This is an SEL trim. Push the button, open sesame. You got a place for 24 Twinkies, perfect for your next road trip. And then down below, you know when you go to the grocery store and you see, or a convenience store, and you see some of those weird things like a pickle in a bag? You could keep 5 pickles in their bags with the pickle juice for your next trip, right in this tray right here. Now, as you slide on in, guess what? We have 2, not 1, but 2 12.3-inch screens. Of course, full touchscreen capability. I do like the way they keep the same usual apps that you're familiar to. You go into your vehicle diagnostics, that's going to pull up all the information. You could change your clock time, change the way the clock is displayed. You could put a compass if you want. Nice to have all that accessibility very easily. Throw it into reverse. Backup camera, it's clear, but it's not the best resolution. So that to me is a zonk. I would like it to be a little bit more clear and the image to be a little bit larger, but it is nicely placed. You do have trajectory, and that's the other thing about the infotainment system. I like the way it's kind of cornered towards the driver. Now, working our way down, we got our start-stop button. This thing right here is your column shifter for the 8-speed dual-clutch transmission. Notice the H design. They actually put the H into the AC vent area. Working our way down, we got real knobs and buttons for your audio. And then you'll see that we have dual climate control, nice knobs with some rubber grips so your fingers don't slip on them. And then you'll see that we have heated seats, no ventilated seats on the SEL trim, but the dual climate is very nice. Hill descent control, you got your different drive modes. I'll show you that when you come over to the business end. USB-C, 2 of them. And what's nice too is that you have a wireless charger and then a place for another person's phone. Now, the good news that's even better is if you go to a higher trim, you could actually get 2 wireless chargers. That's a nice touch. You'll notice our bridge system for our center console, because down below you could put a purse, a sack, a satchel. Hell, you could put a 5-pound bag of Idaho potatoes here. 12-volt, nicely placed, which is great. And then as we come back up, you got your 2 cup holders. This is not a suppository. I know it may look like a metal suppository to track you. It's actually the Hyundai key fob. So with the letter H, if I hold it this way, it kind of looks weird again, but there's the H. If you look at it this way, I'll peel this out of the way here. It looks like a metal suppository that somebody's going to track you, like an alien puts that inside of you or something. The stitching is great. Soft touch material. Open up this bad boy. Look at this. You got plenty of room in here. I would say you could easily put 7, maybe 8, but be gentle, Beanie Babies in here. So if you're going to sell them on eBay, You better sell them soon because I think the market hit its peak about 15 years ago. But if you still have them, you can store them in there. And then the seats. I love the leather style material, the nice design. You have manual controls for the passenger. But guess what? Don't be sad. Turn that frown upside down. That's what I like to say to Steven a lot. I have power seat controls over here on the driver's side. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I want to introduce you to the all-new steering wheel in this all-new Santa Fe. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. In the new Santa Fe, you do have your seat controls. I like the way they put a little bit of silver trim on them just to make them look spiffy. I'm 6 feet tall. I'm digging the room in this new Santa Fe. Some people like the older Santa Fe better. I don't know. I think they're nuts. Because this, the room, the space, steering wheel. Talk about imitation. It looks like a steering wheel out of a Land Rover Defender. Let's just be honest. But like I said, imitation is the greatest form of flattery. You have your flat black, your silver on the thumb controls, that squarish, unique to Land Rover horn button, even though we're in the letter H, that's Morse code. I want to know is, did they stop putting the actual H badge to save money? This has got to be cheaper to make than the letter H badge on the steering wheel. I'm just curious about that. Silver on the bottom portion, and then you'll notice you have nice sized paddles to go up and down that 8-speed DCT. It is manual tilting and telescoping on this, of course, SEL trim. And then you got your 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster. Nice clean graphics. You can go into your drive modes. You got My Drive, Sport, and Normal. So nice to have those different setups very easily. Would have been nice if the dash did something when you went in the different modes. But the good news is that they're nice and colorful and easy to read. But why don't we go ahead? It's that time. Let's get in the mid-row of this 3-row SUV and see if you should buy this over the Highlander. All right, guys, back seat time. And look at what Hyundai has done. They actually have AC vents nicely placed in the frame rail with that H-style design. Even on the backs of the seats, they really want to drive home that Hyundai starts with the letter H, because there's your H badge there. Nice large pockets. You could put a thesaurus, a dictionary, maybe 20,000 leagues under the sea. Here's a challenge for you. Try to get your kids to stop being on their phones and maybe start reading again. It would be nice. I think the world would be a better place if we read a little bit more and just didn't post selfies of ourselves all over the place. Let me know what you think about that. I do have USB-Cs back here, and I always have liked how they have them mounted nice up and high. Here's something ingenious. How many times have you been on a road trip? Maybe you've even been driving the kids to school and they're like, Mom, I want my bag of apples that you cut up for me, or I want my pretzels. And you're like, get them yourself. And they're like, I can't get them. They're in the center console. Well, guess what? Check this out. Now you could say, get your own damn pretzels, because they have full access to that center console. So if you take your Beanie Babies and you finally sell them on eBay like you said you were about 20 years ago when they were actually worth something, you could put maybe some cut up apples, some ants on a log. I used to love ants on a log when I was a kid. Have those back there. Or if they want to eat a bunch of crap, you could have chips and chocolate. It's up to you. But nice to give them the access. And then watch this. Whoop, whoop. Look at this nice storage area. So you could actually keep 2 Game Boys in here and some Game Boy cartridges. I'd rather them play on a Game Boy than play on their damn phone. That's just me personally. Tetris, I really feel, is one of those games where it helps you develop your brain, your mind, your thinking capabilities. That's just me. Seats, though, I thought I had plenty of room up front. I got plenty of room back here. The nice thing is, whoa, that feels good. Sliding action. You ready for this? This is even better. Hello. Look at how much this freaking seat goes back. That, to me, the movability in here blows the Highlander out of the water. Plus, if I could just get the tab, there we go. Nice soft armrest with 2 cup holders. But guess what? We're not done. This Santa Fe has 3 rows. Let's see if I could squeeze back there and show you what it's all about in this new Santa Fe. All right, guys, we're in the 3rd row. I'm back here. I wanted to show you just how easy it is to move the seat. They have a nice button, hit that, voila. Gives you a decent amount of room. I would say a little bit more room than the Highlander. Sitting back here, I can't go too crazy with how I feel because remember, the Palisade is a little bit larger, and if you compare this to the Highlander, it's pretty much on point. My knees are just a little too high back here. I think the saving grace, and what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna move this out of the way so Steven could try to show you the saving grace. For the first time, we have AC controls on the third row with the AC vents nicely placed so I could feel a little cool back here. Seats are not very comfortable, but what does help is with this tab right here. See this little tether? Watch this. I'm gonna pull my tether. You get a little bit lean. So that's the nice thing. Let me move this back so you don't yell at me and say, I didn't get to see how much room you have. Plenty of room. The seat could even come back a little further. It's just my knees are a little high. I wouldn't want to stay back here too long, but at least I have my own AC controls because I like to stay cool, unlike Steven, who for some reason likes to be warm. But anyways, let's get all this folded so I could show you how much cargo room there is in this new Santa Fe. All right, guys, time to get in that cargo area. Now, of course, you could get crossbars to put cargo baskets on the roof if you're gonna do a family road trip. But let's see how much room that we have on the inside. You actually hit the button, nice electric assist on this SEL trim. I left the third row up to show you how much room there is. There's 14.6 cubic feet of space. Now, the good news is you have a nice large nook where you could put 4 Bavarian cream Dunkin' Donuts, and then, of course, a place for a 12 volt, which is nice. And if you're wondering, are the donuts for you? Hell no. If you're going camping and a bear comes up while you're unloading your Santa Fe, the donuts are for him so they don't eat you. Duh. Now, to get the seats down, very simple. What you're gonna do is you could actually tilt, like I was showing you in the back, you could tilt that third row. This is if it's all the way back, it kind of compromises your room. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna fold the seats down, headrest goes down. 1, 2, 3, look at that. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, nice and flat. And then we have some things I could show you. This is what I was trying to be able to point out to you is we have our AC controls for the third row. And there's your AC vents, 2 cup holders. These are the buttons to put down the mid row. It's a 60-40 split. And that's really gonna maximize your space with this Santa Fe. Go to Home Depot, go to Costco, go to Lowe's, wherever you're getting big bulky things, you could get them back there very easily. But you know what? If you're ready, I'm freaking ready. Let's go for our first drive in the new Santa Fe. All right, guys, we left Crown Hyundai. We're in this all new, totally redesigned Hyundai Santa Fe SEL trim. And right away, what I love is just how everything is organized in here. Lots of storage space, lots of great technology, and a very unique driving experience. I really feel like I'm sitting in my seat rather than on top of it. And I have a really good vantage point of looking out over the hood. Rear view is great, side mirrors are awesome. Of course, you're gonna get all of the Hyundai safety features. Getting to the infotainment system is well within reach. And it goes without saying, you have wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. I think that for the price point, you're getting a lot of vehicle, a lot more Santa Fe than you were with the previous generation. But they did a great job with the sound deadening material. They did a great job with all of the things that you're touching feel freaking fantastic in here. And I think that's another area where over the Highlander, especially at the price point, you're getting a lot more for your money with this Santa Fe. Of course, we have that 2.5 liter turbocharged engine with the 8-speed DCT, and we're gonna get onto the highway and see how this vehicle drives. But right away, it feels super good in here. And I'm just thinking that the way they have designed this dash, which they're using this dash in a lot of their new vehicles, it's spot on the money. Easy to see, not a bunch of glare, which is nice, which is kind of shocking that they were able to pull that off. And then even the AC controls. Now I know you have to touch the TFT display, but it's actually quite simple and straightforward. It's a lot better than doing stuff in the infotainment system. But let's get onto the highway and see how this thing drives. Are you ready? We're gonna go on throttle as soon as we merge, of course. But getting down the road, the suspension is really tuned nicely. The chassis is nice and rigid to give you a good controllable driving experience. And we're gonna go ahead, change our lanes, and go on throttle. Are you ready? So right now we're at highway speeds, on throttle. 8-speed DCT drops down and we're off. Definitely has plenty of pep. I'm liking the fact that there's not a bunch of fake sound that's being pumped in through the speakers. And what's really awesome is that it just drives down the road really nicely. Not a lot of road noise, not too much wind noise. You got that 3-row flexibility. And I just think from a perspective of feeling comfortable behind the wheel, I think for a lot of people who maybe might be coming from a smaller crossover SUV, maybe you want to go from a Tucson to a Santa Fe, or even a Venue to a Santa Fe, the proportions are nicely done to where you're going to feel comfortable, you're going to feel confident behind the vehicle. Of course, you have your emergency brake assist, you got lane keep assist, all that technology to help keep you and your family safe. And that's another great thing about how they do this Santa Fe at the price point that they bring it at, which is fantastic. The new steering wheel, the leather, feels good. You got the paddles behind the wheel. And the seats, I'm telling you, that's probably one of my favorite things, is just how good they look, but also how comfortable they are. And not just, when I say comfort, I'm not just talking about squishiness, I'm talking about overall support. And just how's it gonna feel on a longer drive? I think it's gonna feel really good when you get to your destination. You're gonna still feel fresh as a daisy. But dash is easy to read, easy to understand. You got your tachometer, you got your speedometer, 2 totally different colors so that you know what you're looking at right away. And then you have that familiar multimedia software system in the 12.3-inch infotainment system that helps you navigate through the different apps, the different features, the different functions, all of those things. But if you're thinking that, man, this only has a 4-cylinder turbo, it's probably lacking power, you're incorrect on that. You got plenty of power. The one thing I don't like about the DCT is that, especially from a dead stop, it takes a few seconds for it to get going. And you are waiting a little bit for the boost from the turbocharged engine to kick in. But other than that, while you're rolling, I mean, watch. On throttle, takes a second, drops down, we're off. Smooth shifts from the 8-speed. And then the overall drivability is really nice. Plus the fact that you have plenty of room in here for everybody with that unique boxy shape. It's becoming more and more popular. They're coming back. The boxes are coming back in a very good way. The Santa Fe has never looked better. I don't care what generation you're talking about. This is the best looking Santa Fe, I think. And I definitely like the character lines of it a lot more than the Highlander. Highlander looks a little soft. This looks nice and rugged. All right, guys, making a U-turn, easy peasy. I'm gonna come to a dead stop here. Nobody's behind us. I'm gonna leave it in full automatic shift. We're gonna go into sport mode. Are you ready? On throttle, here we go. See how there's a little bit of a lag there? With the front wheel drive, it actually overpowers the grip of the front tires temporarily. You get a little bit of a chirp, and then you can see the tire control, traction control system light come on to rein it back in, and then you're off to the races. But once you get the power down, she really moves. I mean, especially when you go through the gears of that 8-speed DCT. Handling, it's controlled. It's not too floaty, which is nice. And I think that this is gonna help you as well with feeling good, feeling confident about how this vehicle drives. But the great news is you got plenty of power, not only to get out of other people's way, but to get out of your own way, which is nice. But definitely cruising down the highway at speed, this vehicle brings it all in a very big way, and not a very big price point. But we're gonna go ahead and get back to Crown Hyundai and wrap this one up. I hope that this has answered a lot of your questions. We're gonna have other trims coming, so don't worry about that. We're gonna get back and wrap this one up, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, been another great day here at Crown Hyundai. Definitely want to thank Casey and the rest of the team getting us access to one of their very first Santa Fe's, this being an SEL trim. Let me know what you think. Are you sticking with the Santa Fe, especially with the new clothes that it has on, or are you gonna go the more tried and true route with the Toyota Highlander? Very curious to see how you're gonna solve this one, how you're gonna answer that question. Let me know down in the comment section, but if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rides family. We got to give it up, Stephen Flood Photography. Follow him on Instagram. Get him some likes on those photos because he has an eye like none other. He actually has two eyes like none other. So show him some love in the comment section. Give him a follow on Instagram. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.